So we're now going into the didactical tools and strategies. Now the first thing we have is what is actually, without any doubt, within any class, if it comes down to dancing, the most important tool of all, and that's your cueing. Now what is cueing, guys? Cueing is, again, and I explained it in some other videos as well, is the repetitive announcement of something that is supposed to happen or about to happen, done in the same timing, in the same tempo, using the same words, and also in the same moment. So when you look at the characteristics of cueing on itself, what you will notice is, first of all, the timing is important, okay? So when do you give the call? That's one. The second one, it has to have a unique characteristic. So the cueing on itself needs to be unique. There shouldn't be any doubt of, okay guys, let's do a single right turn, and then suddenly you start saying, okay, let's turn to the right side, and then the next time you go, okay, just turn, okay, then it will get confused, especially in the beginning. So it needs to have a unique characteristic on itself. So whenever you choose one word or more words, they have to stay the same. Then what is important is that the intensity of the way you announce the word, that's important. So for example, when I am doing, for example, a shine like the Succes, okay? That's a piece of footwork. I don't know if you know it, but let's say you're doing a Succes where your feet are crossing over each other 2 or 3 times. If you want, you can continuously do that. And then how do you call that? So if I'm doing a basic step, okay guys, basic step, 1, 2, basic step, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, and 3, Succes, 6, 7, that intensity of that word, Succes, or those 2 words, is different than just counting the basic. Because if I would go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, Succes, it becomes very monotonous, there is no intensity, and then it will become harder for you to follow my instructions. Are you getting that? So that's the intensity. Then the fourth one is the repetition. You need to repeat, and again, the same words, same timing, and with the same intensity. And only then, after a while, you can start kind of playing with those words. But first, you need to anchor it. Now, when we talk about anchors, I think in English we write it like this, okay? When you talk about anchors, it's like a boat, okay? So you know those things? Those little anchors that you have on a boat. Why do they call it? Because this is like when a ship starts to float, but you place an anchor that it stays in place. This is what you are anchoring, that you're anchoring in. It's almost like a form of hypnosis. And maybe you now start laughing, but it's true, guys. If you keep repeating it in the same way, after a while, you can just sit down, and if you keep counting, the whole group just continues, okay? That's how strong it is. Now, there are 3 forms of cueing. There is the first one, that's what we call the basic cueing. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. The second one is called the alternative cueing, and that is what we use with different words. So for example, left foot back, right foot back, or for example, left foot middle and right foot middle. You can use different kind of words not to get boring from your basic cueing, because you can imagine if you are listening to someone that keeps counting 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, the whole hour of your class, or sometimes even longer, you will hear that person in the middle of the night counting, and you will not be able to sleep unless you like the sound of it, okay? Then the third one, guys, and that's the most important, that's the instructional cueing, and this is where you have to get to as fast as you can. What's the instructional cueing? That is you giving an instruction to the group, and they execute it. And I mean, guys, if we go very deep into it, because this is the foundation course, if we go very deep into it, there are many ways of cueing, and there are many ways of giving an instruction while you're cueing. But one of the ways is that you do understand that when you give an instruction, it has to be before. So if you have, for example, the timeline, and let's say you have 8 counts, okay? So let me write it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first bar is here, the second bar is there, and those are the counts. If I would say, for example, 1, 2, 3, single right turn, here we go. Okay, so in my explanation, I have anchored the words single right turn, and I did it on the same moment. When did I start counting? did I start counting on the 1, on the 2, on the 3, on the 4, on the 5, 6, 7? When did I start asking you to do the right turn? Listen to it again. 1, 2, 3, single right turn, here we go. Did you get it? There was somewhere here on the 4. And what actually happens is you get this, I would almost say cadence. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. And what is nice, if you dive into the musicality, that's where the conga goes gung gung, gung gung, 4 and, 4 and. So what you can say is when you are cueing, most of the cueing happens around count number 4. And what you're trying to do, guys, is to finish with the words 6, 7. If you are able to finish with the words 6, 7, that will mean that the people have those 2 counts to prepare their body for the action. So listen to this. 1, 2, 3, single right turn, 6 and 7. And what I did, I actually was using 4 and 5 and. Single right turn, 4 and 5 and then you get 6, 7. And it works for almost everything. 1, 2, 3, single left turn, here we go. 1, 2, 3, Succes cue, here we go. I can even say here we go in those 7 and 8, and without any trouble at all, but still having 6, 7, this as a time lap between your call and the action. And this is what we call instructional cueing. And I must say that in the beginning, we always start teaching people this first. And for a long time, we did this as alternative. But what happens with alternative cueing is you can do that in time. So for example, I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Turn to your right side and 5, 6, 7. What I'm doing there, I'm using nice words to do the cueing, but I'm doing it in the moment that I'm doing it, and then you're too late. Now, if you start playing with this, guys, what you will notice, if you are too early, you will get people doing it too fast. If you are too late, you will get those actions like, okay, you will see it when you do your scanning, okay? So guys, again, those are the characteristics of anchoring cueing. Those are the 3 versions. The first thing you need to get to is instructional cueing. Use the 4 and 5 to get it, and the first thing you have to check is 6, 7. Before we finish this chapter, there is a very big difference between cueing without and cueing with music. That's a complete different part. And I must say, start without the music first, and then try to do it on the music. See you in the next chapter.